She's exerting her power, but she's lessening herself. She's chipping away at herself every time she has to siren someone because she's doing it to deceive. You'll have no memory I was here.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Riley, and welcome back to the Wednesday Season 2 official WOCast. There's so much to discuss, so let's dive right in with some incredible guests. First up, Georgie Farmer, who plays our favorite Gorgon, Ajax. Joy Sunday, who plays the enchanting Bianca Barclay. Also joining me is visual effects supervisor Tom Turnbull to chat about the insane visuals in Season 2. Plus, we have Episode 5 director, the incredible Angela Robinson, to talk about the return of this season. I am so pleased to be joined by everyone's favorite stoner, Ajax the Gorgon, Mr. Georgie Farmer. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm feeling quite fantastically brilliant, darling.
That's a great British accent.
Thank you so much.
You just spoke off camera and she said she was going to do it.
Yeah, we were gonna do it off camera, and then I did it on camera, and I was
amazing.
like, he's gonna be obsessed with me and my accent.
Yes. Yeah.
And now here we are. So Ajax and Enid. Last season they were close. This season they are not. What is going on with them?
I think what's happened for Enid is she's done a lot of growth. She's done a lot of self-growth. And she's sort of realized that she's sort of not the same person that she was before the summer. Mm-hmm. But Ajax is still very much in that mindset of how they was before they went away.
And in love with her, probably.
And so in love with her.
Yeah, because she's beautiful.
Because she's amazing,
and
right? She's the coolest. And she has met someone else and she's developed feelings for someone else. And so Ajax has to navigate that really tricky road that you sometimes do in high school and in life. But I think high school, it's kind of harder because when you're around that person and their new partner every day.
An absolute living nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. So he has, Ajax is a little heartbroken for most of this season. And I think it's more about him sort of spending time about getting over that. And then also him sort of feeling comfortable enough in himself to use his powers too.
I wanted to talk about how Ajax is feeling about Bruno specifically.
Right. Well, I think it's that thing, like, you know, when you meet your ex's new partner, there's always going to be this thing of like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know?
And how do I ruin their life?
And how do I ruin them?
Let's get real.
Yeah, and also I think he feels very like, you know, there's probably a lot of comparing he's doing, because I think a lot about Ajax too is that he's very insecure. You know, you know, his whole thing, he's been taught to not look at people in the eye. You know, he's been told to sort of hide away a lot of himself for a lot of his life. And I think when meeting someone as cool as Bruno, who's so sort of confident in themselves and has the swagger about them, he's probably like, you know, like, I wish I could be like that, you know? So I think it's a lot of sort of comparison and friendly rivalry, I guess.
After we cage the pups, we're gonna sneak down to the lake for a midnight swim. You right?
How long have we been broken up? I know that Gorgons can be kind of slow, but I guess I just didn't want to believe it.
You're right, Ajax. I should have told you when school started that my feelings had changed.
Was it something that I did?
No. Just over the summer, I realized I wasn't that insecure girl who thought she would never fit in.
But I like that girl.
I know. But she wolfed out and found herself.
Now, there's some will they, won't they? But,
Right.
you know, then Enid chooses Bruno.
Yes.
I mean, deep down, do you think that Ajax is trying to be a good friend, a good ex, or do you think he's absolutely positively livid?
I think he's struggling with it. And I think that's why Bianca becomes such an important relationship for him in the show.
Right.
Because, you know, you see it in several different scenes where, you know, Enid's joining in with Bruno and Ajax is very much like, no, these guys can't join. But then Bianca's the person to say to Ajax, no, like, stop being ridiculous.
Well,
you know?
I mean, so they've formed like a pretty strong, quick bond. What do you think Ajax sees in Bianca? Do you think that it's just too outcast? Do you think it's romantic? I mean...
I think, well, me and Joy actually spoke about it, and it seems to be like, even in the first season, it seems to be that Bianca and Ajax have always sort of been close. I feel like they've sort of been at the school together from the beginning.
Right.
But I think Bianca really sort of sees in Ajax just that he's just genuinely like a really nice person and he wants to help. And what's so great about Bianca for Ajax is that she makes him feel comfortable enough to be able to use his powers, you know, and feel comfortable in himself.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the fun thing of the season, was like seeing how Ajax grows sort of through Bianca's mentorship, you know? Is there feelings there? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Nevermore's a complicated place.
It's my mom. She's in trouble. And I've got to get her out of it before she permanently ruins her life. But I can't siren or laugh. His head's in a jar, so it blocks my sound.
You two, less scanning, more stuffing.
Professor? Can you take a look at these? Make sure I got the seals right? You know, I don't usually do snail mail. Whoa! Okay. That bought us a couple hours.
Us? This is my problem.
Oh, it's Nightshades forever, right?
I think Ajax is kind of like the unsung hero of the story. Am I allowed to say that?
You can say it.
I think
heard it
he's
here
the
first,
hero
guys.
of the story. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No, listen, I feel like he's the guy that will, I mean, even in, you know, not to sort of beef him up a little too much.
No, beef him up.
But he's always the guy that sort of puts himself on the line. Do you know what I mean? In the big
Yes.
fights and stuff, you know, like in 205.
Yes.
You know, he sort of steps up first and, you know, he takes a bit of a beating.
Yep.
He's someone that you would want as your friend, you know, I feel like.
I wanted to touch on Ajax's power. You're
Yes.
a Gorgon.
Yeah.
You can stone people.
Stone people.
So you're wearing a bald cap, or are you shaving your head?
No, I'm not. Well,
You got beautiful hair for the listeners.
yeah, no,
beautiful.
you know
beautiful
what's
head
so
of hair.
ironic about it is that like when I was shooting the show too, I had such long hair, and I'm like, I remember
Did
whenever.
you really?
Yeah, I had
So
like
you
hair
didn't
down to
shave your
here.
head.
No, I
Why?
didn't. I would make it a lot easier for hair and makeup.
Why'd you
I
make it
guess.
so difficult?
I know. Yeah, so so if it's a day where you're not seeing the snakes, my hair's just tied up into a ponytail.
I see.
And then there's a beanie, and then inside the beanie, there's all these like little hair pieces and stuff.
to make it kind of look like
yeah,
the
it's
snakes.
pretty intense. Yeah.
Do you get to keep the beanies?
I was really tempted to actually take. I was maybe going to ask to see if I could take my blazer, my Nevermore blazer.
Do it. Don't ask.
I didn't get round to
Just
it.
put
yeah.
it in your bag.
I know.
Just put it in your bag. No one will be. I
I
won't tell anybody.
know.
Just put it in your bag.
Yeah, next time.
Next time.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask what it's been like welcoming Noah Taylor.
Yes.
And sort of figuring out that dynamic with him. Has it
Yeah.
been fun to play that out with him?
It's been amazing. It's weird that we were speaking actually earlier today, and it's weird that we've only sort of known each other a year because we just got so close. Me, him, and Owen, we formed a little band in Dublin.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, listen, I apologized to my neighbors where I was living, but what happened is that we all, you know, I would play the drums, Noah was on guitar, Owen was on electric guitar, and we set up like this little studio in my living room.
What?
And so every night we would like jam until like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. I did get a couple noise complaints.
Is there
Sorry.
Did you record the music?
There is some recordings.
Play it right now, Georgie.
There is some recordings, but they would shoot me if I played
nobody
it.
would
we
shoot
made
you.
we made a pact. We made a pact that we wouldn't.
Okay, pack's out. You ruined the pact.
I know.
Now I'm in the band.
I know.
I'm in the
I
band.
know. You can ask him about it.
Well, okay, so aside from making an incredible band together, what are some of your other favorite memories while filming?
Oh man, we had loads. You know what's a testament to the show is I know it's said all the time, but for some reason it really is just the greatest group of people. You
It
know?
seems like it.
We've all become so close, and like it feels like we've known each other for years, you know? We had a really funny, it was my birthday pretty like early on. We had a party at my place that was fun. Then we did a karaoke night, which was amazing.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Iris by the Goo 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 Dolls.
Goo Goo Dolls,
Yeah.
yes, incredible song.
That became sort of the song of the thing. And,
Nice.
Or Teenage Dirtbag is a good one.
That's a really good one.
But yeah, we all actually did the karaoke all together, and that was a great night.
Well, Georgie, that's all the time we have.
That was amazing. It was so much fun.
This was a blast.
This is great. This is the highlight of my day.
Oh, this is the highlight of my day. Are you
This is
kidding me?
amazing.
I'm in a band now.
Let's go. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
my life. Georgie, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
talking
so
with
much.
me.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Everybody, Ajax himself.
That's me.
Don't
That's
stone
me.
anyone else today.
I'll try not to.
Aim for the Gorgon's beanie.
I got it! Fire the flare! Come on!
Hey Thing, I'm listening to Georgie and Owen's bands. They're really good. Do you think that they would have me as their lead singer? Because I can actually sing. No, I can. I can sing. I can sing. I can sing. I can sing. I can sing any genre. I am thrilled to welcome our next guest to the studio, the enchanting Joy Sunday, who plays Bianca Barclay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
You
me.
look stunning today.
You as well.
You
with
are
the
a
suit.
vision. Oh my God, the colors, the shoes. Hello. Do you want to hop into the questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing. So Bianca's arc is very rich and very complex this season. She's hiding her mother, basically being blackmailed by her principal, and still trying to maintain life as a teenager. All real simple stuff. What new sides of Bianca do we get to see this season?
You know, I think there were peaks of it in the first season where we saw her vulnerability, but I guess she doesn't really have anyone to cry out for help to. That wasn't a grammatically correct sentence.
We're there.
But
We're there.
we got it.
We got it.
We're with me.
We're there.
And so we're really seeing her trying to, bear this on her shoulders by herself. And of course she was, again, doing that a little bit in the first season. But I think what's different this time is that she's really nurturing the side of herself that she really doesn't want to, by force, and backing her into a corner, which we did not see in season 1, really, not to this extent. And so there's a need and I think a sensitivity there that I was excited to explore, because she really is isolated. Growing up, Gideon was my hero. Of all the kids, I was his favorite. But then his mask slipped, and I realized he was grooming me to take over for my mom. Everything spiraled so quickly.
Look, as long as no one knows your mom's at Nevermore, Gideon can't touch her or you.
There is a connection that Bianca's having with Ajax, I feel like, this season. I mean, it kind of develops into this alliance, so to speak. What do you think Bianca sees in Ajax?
Well, I think, she's so hesitant to call on others for help that it's so meaningful for somebody to reach out and say, you know what, even if you don't, I'm going to try to help you out anyway, because it shows Bianca that someone is there for her, and not because they're trying to get anything from her, which is something that she's grown up with, right? She's always had, her mom is has been very transactional for most of her childhood. And, being the most popular girl at school, there's a lot of pressure to... It's an economy almost, right?
Yeah.
And so Ajax is just lending his hand and saying, I want to help out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I want to be there for you. And that really means a lot in Bianca's world. So I'm excited to see where their friendship goes, just because this is an opportunity for her to really be, especially now that everything's out in the open, for her to be really raw and vulnerable with someone who has expressed that they're going to love her regardless. So that's special.
What was the experience like kind of creating that dynamic with Georgie Farmer?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I'm so happy that our characters were so close this season, because he's just like Ajax in a lot of ways. He's just such a great person to lean on, and it was easy. to, grow this connection between Bianca and Ajax because that's naturally what's there. He's just really such a sweet, sweet guy. And I'm grateful and honored that I got to be opposite him so much this season.
I wanted to touch on Bianca's complex relationship with her mom. I mean, her mom is much more present this season, obviously.
For sure.
It's kind of like a reversed parent-child dynamic.
Yeah, I really, in season 2, just went more in depth into Bianca's backstory and history with, her mom and how Bianca has had to deal with being, I think the term is parentified, where she becomes responsible for her mom's well-being as opposed to the other way around, which I think causes her to lash out in other ways, as we, saw in season 1. But there is also this opportunity for that to be redeemed, and I'm really excited moving forward how this freedom and newfound liberation, or, what side of Bianca that brings out, because finally she's kind of able to find the balance between having fun and being herself and building this identity without having it to be affected or dependent on what's going on with her mom. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
You did, girl. You did. I'm here for it. I'm just listening.
Yeah. We can't help you unless you start talking to us.
Mom, are you okay?
You're her daughter?
Could I have a word with you both? I think it'll clear everything up. You will drop this investigation, shred any paperwork, and forget you ever met my mother.
Part of your performance, which is sort of the heart and soul of Bianca, but then you have the siren aspect of her character. What was that duality like?
It was really troubling because, or at least in this season, right? Every time she's doing it, she's exerting her power, but she's lessening herself. She's chipping away at herself every time she has to siren someone because she's doing it to deceive or doing it to, just keep navigating in this prison that she's in for most of the season.
Right.
And even though I have so much pride as an outcast and I want my peers to feel the same throughout Nevermore, especially in this season, it becomes a burden. And that's why I'm so excited to see where it goes, because now she gets to step into her power and allow it to empower her.
Right. Maybe use it in different ways.
Use it in different ways.
Good,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask is the contacts. Do they hurt?
Oh, the contacts. They don't hurt, but they are fun to wear because I don't have peripheral vision in them. And so it's pretty much just like, if I'm wearing them, for example, I can't see anything over there, so I can't see the camera. But they are prescription, so I could at least see very clearly in front of me.
I'm a contacts wearer, and I would think to myself, if I had to do that, I'd be SOL. But
they
I guess
didn't hurt
not
too much. I think, thankfully, my eyes are a good shape for contacts. I think I've been told.
Okay, brag.
Yeah, sorry, but
Jeez.
yeah, no, they were fairly comfortable. They just were a little bit hazardous, perhaps.
Sure, of course,
especially at night. So.
Half vision, of course.
Yeah. Principal Dort was so excited you accepted the gala chair, he wanted me to bring these straight over. It's a list of potential donors.
Needless to say, my daughter is not happy that I'm staying.
Well, is Wednesday ever happy about anything? Now, she's lucky to have a mom who's so concerned about her.
You and your mother aren't close?
We spent time together this summer. Digging out from under all her decisions.
Perhaps that's why the spirits have brought us together. I understand that need to prove yourself.
What was it like to work with Catherine Zeta-Jones mostly this season?
So,
I mean, talk about icons.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is the reason I'm an actress, first of all.
Girl, yes.
Because when I was 10 years old, I sat and watched Chicago on my family's desktop. And
we just held space for Chicago, by the way.
Oh, yes.
We just held space for Chicago. Okay. Go ahead.
I was transfixed with her. And then to learn that we're twins. We have the same birthday.
Stop. What's your sign?
It was meant to be Libra.
I love Libras.
I love Catherine Zeta-Jones. So it was just to know that I was going to be on the show with her. I melted.
A dream.
I melted. And then this season, getting to work so closely with her and build a relationship, she literally says, as Morticia, I think she says, "I'm so proud of you." And in that moment, she's Catherine. She's not Morticia right now.
She's talking to
Catherine
Joy.
speaking to Joy.
Yes, of course.
And so that smile is just joy.
God, I could tell. I could tell. Joy.
Caitlin.
It was a joy to have you.
I can't believe.
I like where we're going with this. I cannot wait to see where Bianca goes. And it was so lovely talking to you.
Yes. Thank you so much for chatting.
I've always admired your mom. How she built Front Mortuaries into one of the most successful outcast-owned businesses in the country. I'd love to do something like that.
Mama was always better with the dead than she was the living.
Well, I think Principal Dort was hoping you would reach out to her for a large donation.
Oh, the last poor soul who asked Mama for a donation died of fright. She sent him home in a casket along with a bill. Cookie.
I shouldn't.
I am delighted to now introduce the visual effects wizard of Wednesday Season 2, Tom Turnbull. Tom, thank you so much for being here with me.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Now, this season specifically, what has been your favorite piece of visual effects to design or create? What have you had most fun with?
I think probably the crow sequences have been the most fun. Because there's so much we have to do with them. And we would shoot scenes and they would be, a lot of the actor action would be there. But then we would have to get involved in completing the scene. So all of the pieces of the crow shots and the crow action that weren't covered by the main unit, we got very involved in that. So it's a very engaging part of the show for us. And I think that was the most fun because you're really filmmaking at that point. You're not just painting out some wires here and there. You're actually telling the story.
They're on to me. If I don't make it, the evidence is safe at the bullpen.
I wanted to talk about the final confrontation in episode 4 between Tyler and Wednesday. I wanted to talk about the visual effects work that went into that sequence.
First of all, whenever we're dealing with the creature of Hyde, it's always a bit of a challenge because he's such a large creature in the room. And when we shoot the scenes, we have to be able to shoot them in a way that everybody kind of understands how much space he takes up, how far he can reach. And we would go through a series of kind of visual aids to help everybody kind of understand what it was they were shooting. So one of the things that we would have an actor who would stand in, usually a stunt person, stand in and perform the role of Hyde. And that would help with the sort of lining up the cameras and things. But Hyde is so much bigger than that person. So we'd also have to have a mock-up of Hyde that we would bring out on set. And, well, here's how tall he is and all of that kind of business. And then we would have to find ways for him to interact with whatever it is he has to interact with, whether he's, bashing down, I think he's running down the corridor, he's going to knock over the gurney. We have to make sure that that's done in a way that we can do a practical component of that will marry up with the 3D version later on. So there's a lot of working with special effects on that and to try and make those type of interactive moments really work. And the same with stunts when we have to deal with actors. If he has to pick up an actor and, toss them aside, we have to have a way to make that work in a way that makes sense for the creature. So it's actually quite challenging to get all of that to come together. And when it does, though, it's quite satisfying.
You were right. I was attracted to you. But you do know there's only one way we can truly be together. Say hello to your new master.
We had a deal.
You've also been working with Scanline Visual Effects and Eyeline Studios to help bring these amazing characters to life. And in particular, Christopher Lloyd and Orloff. Talk us through the design and execution of those visual effects.
It's a very cutting-edge technology. When it was proposed that we wanted to put Christopher Lloyd's head in a jar, it's a technique that I was aware of. I had never done it before. Mm-hmm. I did some research into it. I found that there was really only 2 places in the world that were able to sort of do it.
Oh, wow.
Scanline, that's one of the places there in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So that worked out well with Christopher Lloyd, who lives there. The technology of scanning actors has been around for a long time, like many years now. But the whole idea of volumetric capture in real time is you're not just capturing the actor once, which is a pretty large data set just for a single frame of a good scan of an actor. Is having to capture the actor's performance every frame, and then you have to process all of those. So it becomes a very, very large task very quickly.
Does it sort of feel like you're doing math or science, or does it feel more like fluid, creative problem solving?
It's a bit of all of that. Visual effects is incredibly multidisciplinary, mm-hmm. and you can come at it from different areas, different areas of expertise, and it's all useful. Everything is always new on some level, and there's some twist to it that you have to figure out.
Right.
And it evolves. The idea you may have had when you went into doing a particular shot is not maybe the way you end up doing it at the end, because you learn through the process, and there's other factors that contribute to it and other creative decisions that get made. You kind of have to roll with it.
Tom, thank you so much for speaking with me. That was so brilliant and informative, and I just think you're a genius.
Well, that's a bit much, but thanks.
Thing, do you want to bring in our next guest? Thing, what are you doing? Okay, buddy, do that at home. Please.
I am now very excited to introduce the director of episode 5, Angela Robinson. Thank you for being here with me today.
My pleasure.
I wanted to talk through you getting involved in Wednesday. What were those first initial conversations? How did you come on board?
I knew Alan Miles, actually, for forever, for a really, really long time, and we'd worked together before. But we'd always wanted to work together again, but we never were available at the same time. Like our schedule, they were always doing something, or I was doing something, and they'd call me. And so this summer, last summer when we shot, worked out. And so they gave me a call, and they were like, there are these 2 episodes 5 and 6, that we think you'd be amazing for. And I had an opening in my schedule, so I said, let's do it.
What was it like collaborating with them on this part of the story?
Oh, it was so fun. When we first met to discuss the episodes, and they said, since it's going to be in 2 parts, basically, that this was almost the launch episode for the second half of the season.
Yes,
so that they were going to leave things with this exciting cliffhanger at the end of episode 4, and that 5 was kind of launching anew, so that we were picking up with Wednesday after her big accident, and all sorts of exciting things were going to start coming and gearing up. And what was so exciting is that they were like, this season was going to be really bigger and bolder, and it was such an ambitious season. And so there were all these threads, but I really love in episode 5 that you're kind of picking up and really digging into the stories that emerge in this latter half of the season.
I raised Slurp from the dead. He's my responsibility. And I know if they find him, they'll probably put him down for good.
What about this? What about if I help you track your zombie? We'll make it a father-son adventure.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Pugsley and Gomez.
Yes.
Pugsley and Gomez are on this journey. They're trying to find Slurp, which results in this wonderfully gruesome moment at Pilgrim World. Please talk us through incorporating those zombie tropes into the direction. I mean, did you have any influences that you drew from for this scene?
I did, actually. I mean, I have to. The entire production design team just was incredible. Knocked it out of the park
it just
with
looks
Pilgrim
like so
World.
Much fun.
I remember walking onto that set and I was just blown away. I mean, even the little lollipops were ghoulish lollipops in every detail. And they put so much into recreating Pilgrim World into this, incredible Day of the Dead experience. The influences, I actually had Jaws as an influence in that piece, where I wanted it to feel like Slurp was kind of parting through a sea of unsuspecting, swimmers in a way, kind of like in the way that Jaws spin, basically. So I really kind of wanted that sense of festiveness, and he's just cutting through it, looking for lunch, basically.
Yeah.
Pugsley, stop.
You can talk. And you look human. Well, almost.
The brains, they brought me back.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. This is the sheriff's department. Whoever's in there, come out with your hands over your head.
You've given me a second chance at life. I don't want to waste it. You're my only friend, Pugsley. Let me go. Please.
There's almost a tender moment between Pugsley and Slurp. How is it trying to direct something so sincere and moving when it's a zombie in full garb talking to another human? I mean, how do you keep that so grounded?
Well, that's the incredible thing about the show, is that it's this fantastical world and a fantastical premise, but all of the storylines are very grounded and have to do with heart and family and finding yourself. Even if they're monsters, has a story to reveal. And this moment between Pugsley and Slurp, he's been this zombie the whole time. And this is the first time we reveal and Pugsley sees his humanity, quite literally. And Owen really, like all of the actors, play the true emotion very sincerely. And that tension between the style of the show, the comedy, the drama, and then that kind of purity of intention really, I think, is why people relate to the characters so much.
Now, in episode 5, Wednesday, we find out is alive.
Yes.
And we also find out that Weems is back. And that reveal, I mean, the reveal of Weems, her ends up being Wednesday's spirit guide. I mean, there's this beautiful dream-like sequence that was shot. What was that process? What was it like filming that?
So we went to we went to shoot in the actual forest, and we cleared out the whole space. Yes. We were in a forest in the middle of Ireland, and they found a clearing, and they brought all of the elements from Weems's office, like her desk, her furniture, the doorways. And it was just so fun to watch them go. I mean, they just, once they're at it. And I talked a lot with Gwendolyn about how she appeared as a spirit guide, like what type of magic, how she was just seen by Wednesday and not by anybody else. And so Gwendolyn was having so much fun being a spirit. Do you know what I mean? Kind of being like liberated
freeing,
from the world. Plus she had these incredible outfits, which are amazing. Yeah.
Well, Angela, it was a delight. It was a treat. I loved speaking with you. I feel like I got a masterclass in badass directing.
Thank
Truly,
you.
It was such a joy.
Thanks so much for having me.
We are deep into the second half of the season now, and there is so much more to cover. So who is next on the guest list? Emma Myers, aka Enid Sinclair.
A girl can do what she wants, but tell somebody, if you're moved on.
Gwendolyn Christie, aka the spirit guide herself, Larissa Weems.
In no way had I planned any sort of particular emotion for that scene, but I cried.
Plus, Alan Miles are back to break down episode 6, and trust me, you're going to love it.
She has incredible eyes.
Yes.
It's just like those eyes. And she has this look where it's like she's sweet, but clearly deranged.
That's coming up on the next Wednesday, Season 2, Official WOCast. I'm Caitlin Riley. See you next time, my precious piranhas.